around the world. So, you know, the lottery said that they're going to select somebody on August 3rd, and as you point out, it's either Genting or it's nobody. We had a meeting at Aqueduct for Genting to introduce themselves to the community last Thursday. It went extremely well. So, you know, we're hopeful that that's going to happen. Now, if they're selected, the MOU provides for the state to be immediately repaid by the VLT operator. So the state will get its money back, because now we will owe the money to the VLT operator, which we will pay them over time. If, for example, though, as you say, that the bid doesn't go through and we have to start this process over again, the franchise agreement is still in place. The state still owes monies to NYRA for cap and operating expenses. The other thing that I would point out is the state took over control of New York City OTB in June of 2008. And as we're sitting here today, New York City OTB, that handles $1 billion a year of wagers, that went bankrupt in December of 2009, owes NYRA $20 million.
Okay, let's talk about the New York City OTB then, because recently there's been some reports that there's a new CEO and the guy's making $125,000 a month. That seems high, and particularly for an outfit, as you noted, that ran out of money and declared bankruptcy. I'm just wondering what your response is to that.
Well, it's interesting. You know, when Sandy Future came in as chairman of New York City OTB a year ago, we strongly recommended that he come in and hire a workout firm. And what a workout or restructuring firm does is come in and basically takes over the company, gets rid of the top management, and starts to evaluate, you know, what should be done with the business. And this gentleman, Greg Rayburn's his name, has come in, and he's really a workout specialist. And that kind of money is fairly consistent and frankly a little bit low compared to what he would do. And in the near term, he's already gotten rid of the president, the top lawyer, the chief financial officer, the top operations person. He's looking very hard, because we know, and we've told the OTBs in New York, that they have a number of parlors that are operating unprofitably and a cash drain on the operation, and he's identifying that. He said he's going to have a plan within 30 days. He met with a creditors committee yesterday. I think that you're going to see some action in New York City OTB that we haven't seen in 30 years. And I think that's very good for the state. I think it's very good for racing. And we're all probably going to have to take a little bit of a haircut, but you know, the New York City OTB parlors, you know, are a plague on the industry. If you walk by them and you think that's horse racing, then you're not going to go anywhere near a racetrack. So it's a big issue, but I think naming this guy, Mr. Rayburn, was a good move, and they're going to save the money. They're going to save, you know, more money in a month that he'll cost them for a year.
Let me ask you before I let you go. There's news coming out of New Jersey today, and actually this week, regarding Chris Christie, the governor there, and his plans and suggestions for the racing industry there, perhaps even privatizing some tracks or leasing them out. I'm just curious how that would impact New York, because it doesn't sound like it would be a good thing.
Well, listen, New Jersey has been very unsettled. They've been racing at the Meadowlands, which is a premier harness racetrack in the country, and also at Monmouth. They did some things with subsidies from the gaming industry to shore up Monmouth. You know, I think that if the state's willing to sell Monmouth, to give them the off-track business, because that's just getting started in New Jersey, and also give the operator the account wagering business, I think you'll see some private money take that over. And I think, you know, the more good, successful racing we have in the general region, it's better off for NYRA, because it brings more horse population here. So we're watching it with great interest. You know, Monmouth last year, I think, lost $12 or $13 million. The Meadowlands losing money. I think they have to do something. They clearly are putting their support behind the casino industry, because they've basically said no VLTs at Meadowlands, and they clearly have said that the casino operators aren't going to have to support racing. So I think racing, you know, is going to be challenged with these decisions, but, you know, Christie seems like a guy that's a man of his word, and he's going to try and solve some of the problems that the state has. Would
you see then that there would be a blueprint for New York to go in the same direction?
I don't think so, because we're a private, not-for-profit business. We have the highest quality racing in the country. Anyone that bets on a thoroughbred at any given day probably bets on a NYRA track. We're 20% of all the thoroughbred wagering in the country. So we are a big economic machine, and if we can rationalize the OTB system, which I think we'll do at least in New York, and if we can get some VLT money to get capital monies to improve the tracks, we can make a profit just running the racing. And you know, that's something that people need to understand, and obviously we should make money.
Well, Charlie Hayward, I want to thank you very much for joining me. I hope to get up and see you sometime this summer, and if not, have a good meet.
Well, come by and we'll show you around, and I'll give you one of our best handicappers picks, but certainly not mine.
Okay, thanks very much for joining us.
Okay, my pleasure.
Thank you, sir.